Hey, what's up everybody? It's that time of the week again. It's time for our first battle of the week. As you can see, there's something a little bit different. I am playing different music in the background for what you're normally used to hearing. This is Glitch X City. I will be leaving a link in the description to her YouTube page, but she pretty much posts Pokemon remixes, so this is Route 209, I believe, from Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Alright, as you can see this week, I'm bringing with me Aggron, Honchkrow, Suicune, Rotom, Mega Sceptile, and Pangoro. My opponent is bringing Absol, Jolteon, gosh frickin' dang it, Talonflame, Parasect, I do believe Gengar, and Landorus. Sorry about that. Didn't really expect how much time I left myself in the pre-recording. Okay, so my opponent leads with Gengar. I lead off with my Aggron. He's going to go straight up for a substitute, and that's going to mean we get free rocks, which is fine with me. The only way this thing can do anything to me is if it does have the Focus Blast, which will bring me down to Sturdy immediately, which is okay. We see my opponent goes for the Shadow Ball here. Absolutely fine with me. I should be able to take a couple. I can take two, which is fine with me, as long as I can break the sub. I go for the Stone Edge. It connects, which is great, and that's going to break Gengar's sub. This is actually a really long battle, so I'm going to apologize in advance. So this is going to be, I think this battle is like 36 turns, something like that, 32, 33 maybe. We are carrying the leftovers, and we know my opponent is carrying the Black Sludge. We're not going to live past the second Shadow Ball, which is just fine with me. I don't necessarily play terrible in this battle, but it's definitely not my best effort. I actually make an adjustment to this team later this week in the two battles that I've got recorded for the rest of the week. We're going to bring in Honchkrow. My opponent's going to Protect, which is fine with me. I go for the Pursuit. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to hit since the Protect is there. My opponent is going to withdraw the Gengar and switch out into their Landorus here, which is fine with me. I'm not really too concerned about this thing unless it is going to just start throwing Stone Edges at me, which I'm not really too concerned about. My opponent is going to get the Intimidate off on me, which is rather unfortunate, but you know, not too much can be done about that. But I do switch out and go into my Suicune here. I'm not really too concerned about this matchup. I know there's absolutely nothing this thing can do on me, and I do believe my opponent just goes for the U-turn right here. And I believe my opponent is going to go into Parasect. Have never, ever, until right now this very second, seen one of these things in an online battle. It's really freaking cool and unfortunate, because this thing actually does a lot of work in this battle, which is freaking cool to see a genuine Pokemon used so successfully. That's normally not very good, to be quite honest. So my opponent is going to, I do believe, go for the Leech Seed first turn, as I go for the Calm Mind and get the stat boost, which is great. I honestly expected my opponent to sit here and spam Giga Drains at me. I'm not really sure if Parasect gets access to the Giga Drain. And pardon me for the sniffling. I'm going to try my best to keep that to a minimum throughout this video. And we do see the Leech Seed go off, and I do believe next turn I start firing off Ice Beams, since this thing is Grass Bug, or Bug Grass, I forget the order, but I know it's going to take a lot of damage from this. Unfortunately, it's not enough to do a KO, which is unfortunate, but my opponent does go for Spore this turn, which really sucks. If this was a Chesto Suicune, really there would be no problem right now, but unfortunately, I am just going to be asleep most of this battle with Suicune now. So I do believe I try to fight for a couple turns to wake up, but pretty much nothing's going to become of it. So just for a couple turns, I'm going to, I do believe, try to fight out of sleep, and nothing's going to happen. So yeah, actually I do switch out right away, so that's convenient, and I go into my Rotom here. Was really hoping to get a, I forget if I'm going for a Will-O-Wisp here or if I'm going for an Overheat. But my opponent is going to bring in the Talonflame. It's going to take half damage from the rocks, and that's fine with me. And my opponent is just going to Roost up here, which is... I've seen a lot of Roost Talonflames lately. Not really something I expected to see. But that's okay with me. I do Volt Switch here. This thing is running Protect, Volt Switch, Overheat, and Will-O-Wisp. So that's okay. I go back into my Suicune here, expecting to be able to take a flying type move, even though I'm not really sure about Suicune's defenses. This is really the first time I've used Suicune in a competitive scene, and now that I've used it, I freaking love it. Just like Raikou, I hadn't started using Raikou until a little while ago, and now that I've got them both, holy crap, they're both awesome. Don't expect the bulk up either. Usually you see Sword Dance on this thing, but it is going to get a stat boost in both attack and defense, and I'm going to stay asleep, which is rather unfortunate. But I just kind of assume that Suicune's going to be able to take whatever Talonflame can throw at it, I hope. But after the bulk ups, not really too sure. He's going to Brave Bird here, and I do believe that more than likely he's going to one-shot Suicune. Wow, it does not. So we're going to live. Still going to be asleep, and I don't think we can live another Brave Bird, which is rather unfortunate. And I don't know if my opponent goes for Brave Bird again this upcoming turn, or if they roost up again. I really should go back and rewatch these battles before I start throwing commentary. My opponent's going to switch out with a plus statted frickin' Talonflame, that's odd, and bring in the Jolteon. We are going to be asleep this turn, which is unfortunate, but I'm not necessarily afraid of Jolteon, but I know that Suicune can't do a gosh darn thing to touch this, so I do believe I just go ahead and switch out right into the, I think I go to my Sceptile, no, I go to my Rotom. Oh, pardon me. Rotom is going to not be able to do much to this thing, unfortunately. He's going to set up the Wish, and I do believe he switches out into Lando coming up here right away, since it pretty much is sitting at full health on the Jolteon. He's going to Volt Switch, like I thought, go into the Lando, and Volt Switch is not going to do anything to Rotom, which is great, and he's going to bring out the Lando, which is awesome. Not really sure if there's anything to do to this thing, but I think I go for the Willow here, and it doesn't connect, and I don't really want to risk taking an EQ or a Stone Edge from this thing, even though I can't take an EQ. What's wrong with me? So I do believe I hard switch out here and go into. What do I go into? I go into my Pangoro. Yes. This thing takes the field. This thing's a monster. He does go for the Rock Slide, so we do know he is carrying Rock Slide and U-turn now, which is great. It gives us a little bit of idea of what he's packing. He switches out the Landorus and goes into the Parasect here, as I am going for the Ice Punch. This thing is not going to live past that. Pangoro's a freaking monster, and I do just Ice Punch this thing to death. I think this is my Scrappy Pangoro. I've got an Iron Fist and a Mold Breaker one as well, but Scrappy really gets the most use from me. I really did make an Iron Fist one because, or make an Iron Fist one that's actually more viable than the one I've got right now, just because I feel like it'd be a huge beast in the long run. He does go for the U-turn, which is rather unfortunate. It's not going to do a lot of damage. I guess the fighting typing on Pangoro makes it more of a neutral hit, which I did not know until just now. And Gengar is going to come in, and I do believe I was Ice Punching again. I didn't expect him to U-turn out. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage, which is rather unfortunate. I do believe I just go down to a Shadow Ball right here. Oh no, he goes for the Sludge Bomb. Yeah, Sludge Bomb's definitely going to KO. That is a stab move. So Pangoro's going to go down. Did decent. I've got a battle later this week where Pangoro really steps it up and absolutely shines in battle, which is great. Gonna bring in Honchkrow here. It's gonna go for Protect again. I'm not really too concerned about this matchup. I do go for Pursuit. Expect him to switch out. So I do believe I go for Sucker Punch this turn. No, I go for the I went for Pursuit again this turn, and he does get the Poison, which sucks a lot, but I do go for the Pursuit here, and I do believe this one-shots Gengar from about 75 or so HP, or 75% HP. And wow, this battle is so freaking long. Still got like 4 or 5 minutes left. I cannot believe I've been able to absolutely just talk out of my butt for this entire video. But you know what happens. I'm going to switch into Absol here. Absol, Shiny Absol. I think it's Shiny Mega Absol too, which is crazy cool, because I don't really see Absol. This opponent used a lot of Pokemon that you don't really think about. Lando, obviously, but Jolteon, ever since it got knocked down a couple tiers, isn't really that common, which is weird too. But Abs is going to protect itself. I Sucker Punch. Not going to do anything, and I'm going to go down for poison damage, which sucks, but it happens. And at this point, pretty much all hope looks like it's lost. But I'm going to bring in my Sceptile here. I'm going to Mega Evolve right away. And we're going to just find out just how much damage Sceptile can do to the enemy team. And I go for the Dragon Pulse right away. Not want to take any risk. Luckily, this is Stab. We get the crit, though. Not really 100% sure if the crit mattered, to be quite honest. But probably mattered in the long run, let's face it. Talonflame is going to come in. He goes for the Roost, and I'm like, what are you doing? Just Brave Bird me to death. You have priority. It will be super effective on me, so I don't get why my opponent did not go for the Brave Bird. I am going to freaking start Dragon Pulsing away at this thing. He's pretty much going to try and stall me out, which not too big of a deal. I've got plenty of power points left on the Dragon Pulse. He's going to Roost again, and I think I just keep going for the Dragon Pulses here until this thing gets freaking knocked the frick out. And there it goes. Who thought I'd ever see the day that a Grass type took down a Talonflame? My opponent is going to bring in the Lando here. Not too concerned about this. I know that there's pretty much nothing this thing can do to me, and Intimidate is not going to matter since I am special. Is going to U-turn here. Does a fraction of damage, super effective, bringing it down to like 10 HP. And he switches into the Jolteon. Really expected the HP Ice right here, but I don't think my opponent's packing the HP Ice on this Jolteon, which is really unfortunate, and I do believe, if memory serves correct, I do start firing off the Synthesises here, their Synthesis, and this fool lets me get back to absolute full HP, so next turn, you know, I'm obviously going for Synthesis. My opponent is going to Wish again, and goes for the Protect next turn as I go for my second Synthesis. So my opponent is going to back to full HP, and I'm going to be at full HP as well. So pretty even battle. My opponent can't go for any Electric type moves since this is Lightning Rod, and that would give me a huge boost, which would make it just even more unfortunate for my opponent. I do believe he does hard switch out here after this turn and go into Lando and pass on a Wish. I think pass on a Wish is what they're going to do. Yeah, my opponent does pass or go for the Wish this turn, and I'm pretty much 100% positive that switch out here into the Lando to get it back to full HP, which he does. And I'm just going to keep... I think this is where I start firing off Giga Drains just to do damage, I guess, because I'm kind of getting tired of firing off the whatever they're called, the Dragon Pulses. So yeah, Giga Drain's going to do a fraction of damage. Considering the fact that this thing is part flying, that does way too much damage, considering what it is. Earthquake's going to do about half damage, which is fine with me. I fire off a Giga Drain again, and it's going to bring it down to almost KO'd. But that's not going to be the case, and I do believe my opponent here does go for the Earthquake, and I'm just going to knock this thing out next turn. So that's great, and who knew? Freaking Sceptile over here taking names. And this is where things get rather unfortunate. My opponent pretty much is going to surrender the battle in a couple turns, I do believe. So the battle's just going to kind of end abruptly here in about 10-15 seconds. There it goes. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but considering the fact that it was pretty much a 3-1, I do believe, I decided to keep it, or was it a 1-0? I forget what it was necessarily, but I decided to keep this battle anyways because it had gone for long enough that I didn't really want to waste it. But yeah, that's going to be the end of the battle. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on Tuesday and probably again on Saturday. I do actually have all the videos recorded. Just got to go ahead and do the commentary and everything. Check out GlitchX City, and I will see you guys next week. See ya.